Right, the next GCSE topic we're going to have a look at is angles. This is a massive topic. It can come up in either paper 1 or paper 2, so that means calculator or non-calculator. And basically you can guarantee it's going to come up. Now, angles questions tend not to be that difficult. If you've seen past paper questions, they normally tend to basically always be the same sort of question, but with different numbers. The thing you need to know with angles are the facts. If you don't know the facts, you can't answer the question. The people who know the facts tend to be the people who are pretty good and have no problems with the angles questions that come up. Okay, so this video is not really going to show you questions in depth. It's going to show you more, the 6 key facts I think you need to remember to be able to answer these type of questions. Right, the first one we're going to look at is angles on a straight line. Okay, that's a little sketch, a tiny little example. You may have 70, 30, and then the question mark you've got to find. The rule is, if it's on a straight line, and this can apply to just a straight line, or a line coming off a triangle, or a line coming off a four-sided shape, as long as it's a straight line, any straight line, angles on that straight line, so whether it's 3 or it could just be 2, have to add up to 180. So that's the fact. So if I was answering this question, what I do, well, what does it mean? 70 plus 30 plus whatever the question mark is, I don't know, but I can find it out, have to equal 180, right? And then I could do 70 and 30 is 100, 180 take away 100 is 80. So that question mark is going to be 80. Now, easy to do the maths part of it. You have to know though, straight line has to add up to 180, and that's all it is. Next one, triangle. Angles in a triangle also have to add to 180. Now, this is no particular special type of triangle. I'm just talking about triangles in general. As long as it's got 3 sides, it'll add to 180. If that was my example, 70 plus 20 plus the question mark has to equal 180. And then I do 70 and 20 is 90. Difference between 180 and 90 is obviously 90. So the question mark will be 90. Skipping on down then, moving through them quite quickly. Next fact is around a point. So we've done straight line, triangle. Triangle in particular is very important, comes up a lot. Around a point then, in general, if you think of doing a full circle, that's basically what around a point is. You stand somewhere, turn clockwise all the way. That's called normally like a 360 or something like that, okay? So if you did a full circle, as I was saying, has to add to 360, so that's my fact. So full circle adds to 360 or around any one point. So in this case, it would be 120 plus, remember that little box stands for 90, plus the question mark, equals, what's the fact? 360, and I do the same as I've done in the previous questions. Next one, quadrilateral. Now this is a fancy word, basically, for four-sided shapes. So square, a rectangle, a trapezium, anything which is irregular, so it doesn't really look like a particular shape we know, but has 4 sides. This is the fact that you need to know. So there's my 4-sided shape. I got 80, 70, a right angle triangle, and a little question mark, which you can't quite see, is quite small. That's just my little example. The fact here, as long as it's got 4 sides, has to add to 360. Now this is as important as the triangle one. They tend to be the most common. Triangles add to 180, quadrilaterals or 4-sided shapes add to 360, and then you do exactly the same. 80 plus 70 plus 90 plus the question mark equals 360, and then you'd work through that to find out what the question mark was. Nice and easy. Right, now, slightly more in depth, they can be a bit cruel sometimes and ask you about special types of triangles, and they expect you to know the facts that go with them, okay? So a triangle in general, the angles inside it have to add to 180. That's never ever not the case. Always add to 180. But there are also other facts about triangles that you may need to know. Now the first one is an equilateral triangle. Now they may either say it in the question, they may mention the word equilateral, or in the diagram you may see something with 3 lines, one little line on each side. What that means is each side is the same length, and if each side is the same length, each angle is the same, okay? If they are the same, this is a fact, any equilateral triangle, each angle is 60 degrees, because what you do, they have to add to 180. If they're all the same, it's doing 180 divided by 3, because it's 3 angles, and you get 60. So the fact with an equilateral, look out for that if it mentions the word or draws the little lines, have to add, are all 60 degrees, and yeah, obviously it would add to 180 as well. Last one is a nice isosceles triangle. This time, same sort of thing, but this time we've only got 2 little lines, okay? So it means this time 2 lines are the same length and 2 angles are the same. So I've written it down below, and the actual 2 which are the same are the bottom 2 right ones, okay? So normally it's drawn like that. It's the bottom 2 right ones which are the same. So if I said the bottom left one was 40, the bottom right one would be 40. If the bottom left one was 70, the bottom right one would be 70. So once you find one, basically, of them, you can straight away write down the other, okay? So in summary, all you need to do with angles is just make sure you know the facts. Another little tip I'd advise you to do is on the actual paper itself, write down any angle you can find as you go, okay? So if I work out one little angle happens to be 30, I may not know whether I actually need to know it, but if I work it out, I write it down in the little diagram, okay? It tends to be the more facts you know, or the more angles you have written down, the easier the actual problem becomes to answer, okay? So make sure you're annotating on your diagram to make it easier for yourself.